We're gonna talk to Kumse Shikamaga right now. We're gonna just fall back. I'm gonna get a couple quick drops. You know, one love to Aquata. I wanna go ahead and check on Bam Bam because we ain't checked on Bam Bam in a minute. I told Aquata we're gonna start checking in on Bam Bam. You don't do too many, drops. I guess you don't want to be checked up on a whole lot, man. But y'all want to see Bam Bam build some stuff, man. We're building for Joy World, man. We're building, for Nagarville, and most of all, we're building for HaWah, So, maybe Bam Bam could show us a couple things, man. Then we got to look at some parallel timelines in history. And as we come out of this talking chronology, we'll get into, back into, some of this genealogy, you know, some real important stuff, man. Where we left off last time in 84, oh man, on this Hushi Yukpa. Really surfing the wave and the connectivity. They say she's the daughter of Father Choctaw, Mother Choctaw. She's the sister of Pushma Taha, who, declared war on Tecumseh. Said, man, I'll see you on the battlefield. I'm rocking with our new friends here, man. Hushiyukpa, bird, happy, happy bird, born in 1760 of the Kata people. This time we're digging on the Kas and the Ka and the Kata and the Kara Katai. And these, in Cathay, all this Kata is Cathay, man. All this represents the people, in this promised land. Tecumseh is fighting to preserve it, fighting to preserve the lands. At the time, the lands were claimed by France, but would later become U.S. territory. Man. With the Louisiana Purchase, eventually the states of Alabama and Mississippi. So Hukpa or Hushiyukpa married James Garland. So, push my taha. So he married off his sister, right, to this hijack James Garland, who is Major James Garland, right, 1775. All right, he starts popping off this Tecumseh War. It's already happening. Chickamauga War, what they call American Revolutionary War, is all about you, right? It's all about these Chickamauga, all about the Cherokee that made no deals. Yeah. Made no deals, made no treaties. He was a Scot, former British military officer, lived among the Choctaw. He lived among the Choctaw. It is reported that she was either sister or sister-in-law to Chief Pushmataha. Otherwise, her family origin is unknown. Her marriage to Garland occurs in around 1775 and produces two known sons, John Garland and Michael Garland. So at this point, you got the Garlands. You don't know the genealogy or the connection with this Hushi and her connection with Push. We'll just call him Push, man. Because he sure did push Tecumseh out the way, man, to get to his treaties, right? And again, just like with the Moorish situation, whether you find yourself a descendant of this or that, what are you going to do? How are you going to make a difference, man? How are you going to help unite the tribes? We got to do the work that Tecumseh wasn't able to do, that Push, should have done, that Tecumseh, wish he could have done even better, It was so much personal animosity between Tecumseh and Push. Push, man, he just couldn't do it, man. He felt like Tecumseh was just, shining on him too much, man. I mean, maybe if Tecumseh could do it again, maybe he would have, just approached everything much different from the jump with him. Maybe he would have had a better relationship, but Tecumseh, he just had that power, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have time to slow down and worry about these jabronis' feelings about how he's shining, how he's, you know, causing this reaction with the tribe to the tribe up and what I mean, get back on code with his brother the prophet. We all, wish we could have done better as Israelites. We wish we would have kept the code better. So we all are descendants and all of our ancestors, have had some level of failure, man. You know what I'm saying? We in our lives have a level of failure that we're dealing with, of course. So of course they did. They also had victories, man. But this was a failure that we couldn't unite. So Hushi here marries James and they begot John, right? Hushi, back to Genie.com. Now they say over here that she's the daughter of Father Choctaw and Mother Choctaw. But that's all we know. Here they're called sun mythical and moon mythical. And here again, that's all they tell us. As far as it goes. But she marries James Garland. And together they have John Garland. John Garland has James the first, Samuel, Silas. Silas has Israel. Yeah. Israel's the father of Louisa. And Louisa is the mother of William Henry Harrison, principal chief of the Choctaw Nation. And as we get the drop on Tecumseh and these council wars that they were trying to have to avoid whatever conflict, and tribe up, this William Harrison was always in the middle of things. You have this William Harrison, and you had another William Harrison. Yeah, oh, there we go. President William Henry Harrison. We went over this. So they're separated here by nearly 100-year time shift. If we're talking about the same one that was called governor, but this one is connecting with old Tippecanoe. And old Tippecanoe, goes right into that map, right? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh man, oh yeah. And just remember, man, just quickly with the Cherokee, with the Chickamauga, you talking about the ones that separated from the rest of the Cherokee during the American Revolutionary War, right? With Mohawks popping off in there, does the majority of the Cherokee wish to make peace with the Americans or wish to make treaties of peace, right? Just keep that in mind when you see all these Chickamauga wars popping off, that they wish to make no peace with the hijacks, and it went on all this time. Even into the Philippine Wars, which we know is also us. Yeah. Was it already Morocco? You say Morocco was already established here, just let the hijack roll up on all these indigenous people for hundreds of years and just sat back and did nothing and took no side? Or is this the side that Push Mataha took and the Choctaw Chickasaw that was rocking with him and whoever else, Upper Muskogee that was rocking with him, divide and conquer, and we had to fight our own knockers, our own brothers. I mean, it looks like we seeing clearly, man. What about you, man? How y'all thinking? How y'all feeling about this? Are y'all seeing clearly yet? Old typical new, right? Typical new, right? So he's named old typical new because that's how much work he put in, how much bloodshed he put in for this to be established. Because this comes with a treaty on your head bone. The treaty is deep. One has to help the other. One can't harm the other. It's being renewed and renewed and renewed time and time again. And what has it got us? Where has it gotten us? Where has it gotten the Nagas, Morocco? Because if you hear the whole time, if you say you hear the whole time, that means you were here making these treaties. You weren't over there making these treaties. You were right here making these treaties, man. This is why we upset. You got to let us be upset if you want to tribe up with us. You're going to have to let us go through this. You're going to let us be upset, man. The tribe of Ishmael or Ishmaelites was a tightly knit African, Native American, and poor, quote unquote, white descendant, estimated to be around 10,000. Fugitives from the South, they arrived in the central part of the old Northwest at the beginning of the 19th century, preceding the other pioneers. After a century of fierce culture conflict with the majority society, the tribe was forcibly dispersed. Culture conflict. An Ishmaelite could be seen at one time as a childish but lascivious Negro. Lascivious Negro. So the Ishmaelite is a Naga. Okay. So is Israel. So is Jacob.